Hello again, golfers, and welcome to the 7th episode of Inside the Ropes, a deeply personal journey with Scottie Walnuts. I'm your host, Scottie Walnuts, and today we've got a quaint English golf course to check out called Haverleigh Spa by Rich N UFC 99. Just a reminder that we film these episodes live on Twitch every Tuesday night beginning at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And if you found your way here, then you're just as welcome to join us on Tuesday nights, and the link is in the description. So let's talk about this golf course. This is from a designer that has a long history of high-quality publishes, and this particular one, still relatively fresh on the scene, just published about 4 months ago and added to the TGC database at the end of November 2025. And this one is just a charming little treat for us. And at first glance, you might not think you're in England as the location for this one, but let's read what the designer says in his own words. He says, nestled on the lower slopes of the Pennines, the bustling industrial town of Haverleigh Spa is a great location for golf. Sandy soils and gentle undulations coupled with the heather-laden heathland provide fast-running fairways and firm greens for golf. The course delivers for all levels of golfer. At 7,231 yards from the tips, there's a good mixture of long and short holes, and with some interesting greens, there is plenty of challenge for all aspects of your game. So that's the designer's description, and so the name of the course, Haverleigh Spa, is actually the name of the town adjacent the golf course, and the Pennines, or more properly, the Pennine Way. I had to check this one out myself. The Pennine Way, thanks to Wikipedia, lets us know that it is a national trail in England with a small section in Scotland. And when you look at the map of the Pennine Trail, it looks like it runs sort of right up the middle of England. This is not a link-style course. We are not near the ocean. You won't get that dunesy coastal vibe that you get from a lot of the UK courses. But nonetheless, this is a real treat we get to sink our teeth into today. The course features 3 sets of tees. The shorter setup, the blue tee, is 6,908 yards. The black tee is 7,068 yards. And the tips, the white tee, where we'll play from, as mentioned already, is 7,231 yards. It's a par 72. Just a reminder, we're on TGC Tour's Platinum Tour settings for our rounds, which is Legend Swing difficulty. And we use a default ball, so we'll get a sense of how the course plays on the difficulty played by the best players in the world. If you enjoy the showcase, remember to smash that like and subscribe button, or leave a comment to let me know what you think of the course and the round. So we're all set up here at Haverleigh Spa. Tips, pin 3, as we generally do. Medium winds to the west and all default conditions, which is very firm fairways, firm greens, and fast on the green roll. Let's head to the first tee. We got an early Nux appearance tonight. She made her debut in episode 5. So 478 yard par 4 here at Haverleigh. It's downhill a little bit right to left. You can get a sense of the landscape right away. Sort of, I'm not sure, maybe not pines, but sort of tall, skinny trees. We're just going to hit a driver here. Off and running. Ball's going to really run if you can catch one on this very firm fairway. 184 in. Looks like this course will feature sort of rugged bunkers here like that. Bunkers that have been planted, sculpted nicely. Going to be hitting a 7-iron in here. What's up, Yavis? You bet. You bet, sir. Oh, you're kidding me right off the bat. Oh, jeez. Imagine right off the bat in episode 7. Just drain that from whatever that was, 184. We're not going to watch the replay. We can watch it back, and if you're watching on the YouTube later, you can just hit that rewind button if you want to see that one again. What's up, Linkster? 339-yard par 4. Bit of a false front, though. Going to be tough to run it up, I think, into the wind, even with a power drive. Um, Kind of cool. Maybe we'll look like. I thought that was maybe like a farm field or something. I think it's just part of the the wild, the natural area there. Um, Maybe laying back is the play here. Only like a couple inches away from doing it again. Well, like the tap and birdie there on 2. Nice view of the course. Might be blocked out by my graphics on the left of the screen, but a nice waterway there. Nice little. I'm sure we'll see it again at some point. Another par 4 here on the third hole. 435 yards. Love the sort of the borders of purple around the holes here, and kind of neatly done with how the trees are like big trees, but they're the type of tree where the leaf doesn't start till higher, so you can kind of maintain like you have sort of borders, so to speak, for the fairways, but visibility is not limited necessarily. You can still sort of see the environment around it. This one will run right on out for us. "91 yards this time." Never really on it on that one. Still got 15 feet to convert. Greens roll at 162 default, we can see here. For the first time, I actually have to line a putt up here on the third hole. Pull out and tap in on the first 2. Yeah, that'll do. That'll do. Quick start here, 4 through 3. Got 2 on the opening hole. What was that? 478 yards, and we made our 2 on it. That was something. Can't rest on that, though. 465 yards this time. Relatively forgiving landing area. Nice sort of dry creek bed with or just natural area in general with the bridge there. 111 this time on the approach. Maybe a little bit strong on that one. 17 feet this time. Right to left. Straightening out towards the hole. Oh. All right, our first non-par 4. Going to be here on the 5th hole in the form of a par 3. Kind of nice how the hole itself here is in the shadow, but beyond it you can see sort of, you know, the sun's shining being sort of dispersed by the fog in the air, the humidity in the air. It's right there. Creates a sort of neat effect. All right, so for the first time, we won't make our birdie or better, but we'll tap in our par. There's that water. I think that's that same waterway we were looking at earlier, mentioning. Beautiful view of it there. Looks like we're going to come right up against it here and play both on the tee shot and the approach, and God forbid, even if you're in this bunker right here. How many balls are like 20 yards deep into the water and on this line? Because people like me were playing this course. Really beautiful introduction of the water here, though. The water was hinted at, but we're only seeing it for the first time here. Nice retaining wall, nicely done. Nice and smooth. Love that. 400 yards, and you're not going to want to miss right on this one. Feels nice, and left center. And just for good measure, we're going to pull it a bit too. Should be fine. I'm spotting it's tough to see. I'm not looking at this hole. I'm looking way beyond through the trees, some sort of like aqueduct looking almost thing. You see, if you just look straight through the trees there, it's way in the distance, but I'm curious what that might be about. We come across that. You can see again way in the distance if you really look, but there's sort of some houses in there. Again, getting neat effect. That's beautiful. The sun over the water there. Beautiful. Wasn't our very best chip, but made our par after a quick start. Couple pars in a row. First par 5 of the round coming up here on the 7th hole, it looks like. 548 yards downhill. Theory looks like it could be gettable if we find the fairway here. We'll 3 in. Bit tricky because your long to mid iron is gonna kind of have to land on this red here, and that's gonna make it tough to stop. But a headwind will slow the ball speed down a little bit. Will actually help us out a scooch. Very reasonable for a par 5 that otherwise doesn't have a ton of defense. Fair to call that one an opportunity. Kind of flared it out a bit. Center of the green, though, no trouble at all there. It's even going to work its way in for us a little bit. Give ourselves a decent look for our second eagle of the round. From 15 feet, gently left to right. Hit it hard, but but the line grabbed it, and that's our second eagle of the round here early on. 7 through 7, 2 eagles, 2 pars. Along with the birdies. Tricky one here. 225, and look what you have to land on. And when you look at the screen, it's, I think, a safe bet to say probably, 4 pins. You got one back here, one in the middle here, and then maybe one right up at the front here. Or you could even maybe fit 2. Or wherever they are, this is, I would suggest, the toughest one to get at. If anything, the backboard. But especially for a draw hitter like we are, this is a tough one to get at. If you can work it left to right, but the fairway, remember, is bouncing at very firm, so this is a high difficulty. I'm not saying it can't be done. I'm not saying it can't be done. In fact, I would love to do it right now, but this is how this is. Let's see what we can do with it. Not awful. I think we have the right idea. I'm not unless this could come all the way back, actually. It's what we refer to as calculated. Nine feet. And just a very calculated approach leads to the birdie there on 8. .574 yards to round out our front 9 here. And I'm not coming up with any reason that we wouldn't try and smash a power drive out there and cut our distance down as much as possible. It'll leave us 244 in. Kind of similar considerations to that last par 3 that we just played, and we pulled that off, so not quite the backboard like there was on that one, but you gotta work it in left to right here. $12 to play the front 9 and 10 under. Just doesn't quite stay up high enough, so we make the birdie. That's an even birdie. Front 9. Out in 9. Just going to pop into the clubhouse real quick, and we will be back on the 10th tee. Just a moment. What we needed from the clubhouse. Ready to tee off on 10 here, 446 yard, par 4. Moves left to right, maybe up the hill on the approach. We'll see. Yeah, skis off at work. Yeah, there's 2 seasons as far as I'm concerned. There's ski at work and ski at home. $146 yards. Probably going to be a pitching wedge. It's not really up the hill. I said, look, kind of looks up the hill because it goes down and then back up, but certainly you wouldn't want to, and probably, hopefully not, but speaking it to existence here, like this would be a tough shot if you had to make an up and down from down at the base there, down at the base. Oh, baby. Not quite there on the 10th, but casual enough par. 11th hole potentially drivable. Yeah. Par 4, 336 yards from tee to pin in this case. A little bit downhill, a little bit with the wind. Interesting, right? Is it even a power drive situation? Let's give ourselves as much room as possible there. I don't want to risk bringing that tree line into play. This will be interesting to watch play out here. Yeah, we'll be all right there. 15 feet, not a lot on this one. I think the line is inside the hole. I do. I do. Crushed it. Eagle, 11 through 11 on the par 4 there. Third of the round here. 491-yard par 4. Are we actually taking a 3-wood off the tee on a 491-yard par 4? Maybe. Just ease up on a driver there. Get more yards out of it. Still able to get that partial choke well over 300 yards. 179 yards uphill now. Green will help us for a few squares left of the pin. Dun, dun, dun. Ourselves 7 feet on the comeback. Managed to clean it up. Do, 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 do. 154 yards. Again, just a little bit up the hill, a little bit of right to left wind. $18 for the birdie. Just taking a quick look, I'm spotting it. Some sort of watery bliss over here, some sort of, and you can see like there's some sort of dwellings up in the hills there. Imagine living in that house, that'd be pretty cool. Love that. 18 feet. To par again. $373 straight to that pin right there. That's right up at the front. There might be some world that a power drive has a chance. Are we living in that world? Well, let's find out. Right up there. Gonna leave us a partial flop situation here to get up and down for birdie. Check mark beside that one. 12 through 14 now. Another, definitely distance-wise, drivable, tough pin. And you can see right at the pin, you can see those beads that are going to be just a conveyor belt for your drive that's rolling out, unless you really get that number. It's doable, though. This hole benefits the right to left shot shape, which is our natural. And I'm not even sure it's a full choked. I think if you can get that ball bouncing, right back in the fairway here, it's very firm. Remember, very firm fairways, and that ball's just gonna take off on it. Be curious to see the result of this one. Tough, especially, I mean, the way the ball when it rolls onto the green from the fairway, and it doesn't, I don't think, literally pick up speed, because that would be physically unreasonable. But a driver that's coming to, like, the odds that you just get it so it creeps on and doesn't like have even just a little bit of momentum, and these beads are taking it away. And you got to be careful on this shot as well. That's the thing. But maybe a super flop in this case, especially because we're going to want to stop the ball as quickly as possible. One of those very beads that we were just examining. Hey, what's up, Corey? Appreciate you coming in, sir. All right, final few holes here. 16th hole, 556-yard par 5, not overly long. Again, we can put a drive out there. Probably better off trying to move the ball left to right, though, because that wind in the fairway is going to want to bring that ball into the left-hand rough. we should be adequate. Adequate spot right there. Right on out there. That will remain for eagle. Our fourth eagle of the round. That gets us to, and we narrowly missed one on 9 there. That ninth hole could have been one, but that's our fourth. We're seeing that waterway again. Beautiful. 209 yard par 3 downhill. Gotta be careful. You don't want to catch a tailwind and a breeze kicks up all of a sudden in your backswing, and that water behind the green. There's no rough protecting your ball from going in that water. That is straight up. In this case, because the pin's at the front, we don't really need to mess with it. But honestly, you still need to be careful because you're hitting, a mid iron and even a few yards, and then that ball's rolling out past that pin, and who knows what happens then. Even this, I think that's wet. That is, I was just actually really giving an example of what I was talking about there. Um, that's tricky because you catch the down slope, and if you don't catch first bounce on the green, which we didn't, then yeah, that's that is a much more dangerous shot and pin than it looks. We saw exactly why that's the case. Unless we can somehow get this in the hole, we're going to take our first bogey. We're also apparently going to be hitting this ball with the shaft of our club, basically. Just got a nice little stance there on the retaining wall, perfectly normal, nothing to see here, perfectly normal swing plane. Look at that. There's barely any offset, pretty much just straightforward, straight back right there. So we'll take our medicine on that one first. First real hit we've taken here in the round. It's been smooth sailing for the most part. We're just talking about 4 eagles, and of course, the game of golf has a way of bringing you back down to earth. Neat finish here with water down the right, and we've got quaint little, not even little, but you know what I mean, Sort of clubhouse here overlooking the 18th. We'll take a closer look when we're off the tee here. 519 yard par 5. There's some gettable 5s on this. They are not behemoths in length, relatively speaking, and there aren't, at least in the setup that we're playing, not really any like noteworthy defenses, I wouldn't say. Gives you opportunities, and that's partially why we've made 4 eagles here in this round. A nice little gazebo overlooking there. You know, you can also see much further in the background, even some smokestacks from a factory, a little village there, and maybe nice spot to enjoy a club sandwich or something right there. And charming finish here with the white fence and maybe practice facilities in the background there. There you can see there's sort of that hedge back there. Parking lot, of course. Beautiful. Yeah, Knight would do his thing. Perfect spot for it. And this here remaining would be our 5th eagle of the round, if we can make it. Which we do. And that is Haverleigh Spa. Was that Haverleigh Spa itself that we saw on 18 there at the end? And is that one of the, probably is, Haverleigh Spa. Beautiful golf course. Shot a decent number on it too, 50, and we had that double bogey. Yeah, there on 17 to accompany 5 eagles throughout the round. So that's a 15 under with a double bogey, 6 on the back after playing the front 9 and 9 under. Watching another edition of Inside the Ropes, a deeply personal journey with Scottie Walnuts. If you enjoyed the show, remember to hit the like and subscribe button and leave a comment to let me know what you thought about the round. Remember, we're live most evenings on Twitch with golf and sometimes other sport and story games, and we film these episodes in front of a live studio audience on Twitch every Tuesday night. Link in the description. TM high, and let 'em fly.